Dr. Jazz.
Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I think you're such a busy man, considering how
For the
many.
moment, I am. Sometimes I'm not, but for the moment, I am. Yeah, I will go to Switzerland next week and have a festival.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. I mean, I listened today to Gush, to Afro Blue, which came out
Yeah.
fairly recently, and
Yeah.
but I first wanted to start this talk. Have you been preparing something new also on the band leading department in this year, or some other things? I know you've done like a modular synth and electronics record that came out, I think last year on Bandcamp, but like other projects, have you been preparing something, or?
Yeah, I think that there are always two sides on my work. It's always the links is the voice between electronics and back to the grand piano. And now I'm more focused on the grand piano because we have actually a lot of concerts with Gush in this fall now in Austria and Germany and also in Sweden several times. So we try to do something together as a the main thing is to work on more like a modal music, which you have on this blue
Afro Blue, yeah.
Afro Blue, yeah. So that's the thing. And then I have I'm also working a lot with other musicians who are working with the voice. So we are going to Bern now next week and have a festival there for 4 voices, which are working with live electronics, and I sing and playing the piano.
Oh, wow.
So it's always a mixing between that kind of thing. Yeah.
How did you guys decide to release Afro Blue? Because it was recorded in '98. I mean, it's a beautiful record. Like the band is burning. Like, what's the story behind the?
Yeah, the story is we were really shocked when you heard it because I had it on a DAT tape, and you know you have to transform the DAT tape now because they are getting old now. So you had to take it over to the computers, and then I heard the recordings and Raymond, the drummer, had it already on a cassette. But I said that to them, it's unique. We must do something. Yeah. So we just said that, we must do it. And Mats was just screaming and said, we must do something. And then we had this released on this record label.
Yeah, the Austrian one. Yeah.
So then we said to each other, maybe we should go on a little bit and see how it works when we are playing it live again.
Yeah, you guys haven't played live for some time, no?
What?
You guys didn't play now for some time live, or? Well,
we are playing. It's now and then, but we are always playing some concerts every year. But now it has been very seldom. But now we have some kind of
revival.
Yeah, we have already. Well, I think it's 20 concerts now. So
whoa, that's a big one.
Much more than we ever have done for a long, long time now. So I'm looking forward to do these things in Germany and Austria and Sweden.
Well, I hope to catch you. Maybe if you're in Graz, I'll check the schedules. And
yeah, we are going to, for example, to the festival in
St. Johann, maybe, or
what?
St. Johann, probably, or Villach.
Yeah, but the other.
Nickelsdorf.
Well, no, not Nickelsdorf. I can. Sorry,
Ulrichsberg. Sorry.
I can say it. It's in Wels and Vienna and Villach and Vienna again.
Oh, fantastic!
And then we are in Germany.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So Wels, it will be in the beginning, the first week in November.
Yeah. Fantastic. What's your story with Raymond and Mats? How did you guys meet? I mean, I know they played on your record Now or Never already in the mid '80s, I guess. But
Yeah.
like, how did you hook up with those guys?
Oh, it started with Ryman and I know each other for a long time. And then we getting together and played in it was around 85, 86 or something like that. And then we met this guy from the north, Umeå, who Mats is, and he was at that time he was younger than me, and he's still younger. But and we said, well, we had a project together with another sax player, Jörgen Adolfsson from Sweden. He had a group called Iskra for a long time in Sweden, and we had a concept around doing drawn music or borduna music together. And in the end, we were just 3 people because Jörgen didn't have the time to do it. So then we started in 88.
Already.
1988, and then we have going on, but it have been lots of what do you call it, longer time where we don't play so much because we are very busy at many different sides. But now I think that it's a quite of a reunion actually.
Yeah,
so I think it will be great.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's 36 years now. So.
Yeah, that's rare it's cool for bands. I mean, musicians to still play. I mean, that's fantastic. Yeah.
And under that time, Raymond and I, in the middle of the 80s, organizing festivals and like that around Swedish musicians. And after that, we have started to do more connection to the Norwegian musicians, as This and Love and other musicians from there in the beginning of the 90s.
Yeah. How was I mean, obviously the Scandinavian scene had some sort of a revival of free music, let's say in 90s already. And but how was it for you? Like if we go even back, I guess mid 70s or early 70s, what got you excited for this music, for improvisation or jazz specifically? Did you have like a moment that you said like, shit, I want to explore this? Or
for me, it's starting. I must say it was especially. It was 1976 because I was growing up in a small town, Linköping, and then I went to Stockholm here, where I also had staying since then. And there was a modern music, contemporary music line, which I already met the people who I still have cooperation with. For example, Drå Feiler, Søren Runolf, Søren and I also have connection to a lot now. And it was 1976.
Oh, already.
Yeah. And at that time, a little bit later, I started a trio with a guitar player and a sax player. But also I was involved in this Lokomotiv Konkret for 5 years also. Yeah. We are sharing a concert actually next week on the Swedish Jazz Club Fashion.
Wow. Okay.
It's a little bit of the connection coming again together. Yeah. So it started there. And at that time we started this FRIM Improvised Music Association in Sweden, and that was 1977 or 78, and it still existed actually.
Really?
So there are younger people who are working with it now.
Yeah. But did you guys play a lot back then? Because like I said, all these Swedish musicians came like in the 90s, and I mean Norwegian and from other countries. Like, but how was it in the late 70s, early 80s? Because I still get a feeling it was like a strong, this traditional jazz tradition going on, but you guys kind of were.
Yeah, it was at that time. It was more like a guerrilla group because the traditional jazz players were not so fond of what we actually were doing, and it could be a problem actually, because all these people, the older jazz musicians, they have already was into that kind of field in the 60s,
Sure.
So for us, it was really strange because they were also in some kind of free improvised music at one period, and then they went back to the traditional jazz. And for us, it was really hard to be accepted, because now it's a big difference. The younger people are playing both traditional jazz and free improvised music and pop music. So in one way, it's a better climate now, I think. Yeah.
When you started, like, who were the piano players you explored in the field of jazz? I mean, did you go like all the way like to Cecil and all that stuff? And
I especially I was really into the aspiring to listen to Cecil Taylor's solo records.
Okay.
But I must say that at the same time, I was almost more interested in, for example, Stockhausen's solo piano pieces, because I was, in one way, I'm classical trained. I don't have a classical repertoire, but my teacher they were contemporary musicians, which I also have a connection to now.
Yeah.
Mats Persson, Christine Scholz, they were also students for Kontarski brothers, who were the piano players in the Stockhausen project. And then I have, for 5 years, I had a very close friend to mine, Carl Axel Dominique, and he's one of these, interprets for Olivier Messiaen music.
Yeah.
And he had recorded the whole catalog, and he's a fantastic person. So we are still contact to each other, and we share concerts sometimes. So in one way, I'm more, if I listen to music and got inspiring, there are more piano players like Igor Levit or Andreas Steyer or some other classical piano players, I must say.
Interesting.
But Cecil Taylor was important at that time.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, makes sense. Yeah, when I hear you play, it's you have all of this, the classical, the modern classical, and the jazz, of course, voice.
Yeah.
When did you start leading bands then? Like, I mean, you mentioned all these groups, Iskra, and that were happening. I mean, I know your trio with Johan and Paul, which was like late 90s, right? But before that, you already started leading bands, right?
Yeah. As I said, I was in Lokomotiv Konkret for a while, but then I had a trio with Peter Söderberg. He's a lute player more than, but he plays contemporary music on lute and also guitar player, Peter Söderberg, and Johan Petri, a sax player. Then we have a group for at least 10 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So then it went on, and that was the first time we went abroad. So we were a lot to Holland and Belgium and like that for a while. And when we were starting the group Gush, we were touring a lot, actually, in the beginning in Germany and around Scandinavia. So
interesting. Yeah. How did the trio with Johan and Paul then happen? Because I think Paul was like on every record in the mid-90s.
At that time it was not, so it was like Johan and I were starting to play, and then Johan Battling said to me, I know a Norwegian drummer. So I went to a concert here in Stockholm, and I said to Mr. Nielsen Love, I want to play with you, and then we start. So we are still playing, and more and more. Not so often now, but now we are playing Paul and I as a duo more and more.
Really? Oh, wow.
Johan Battling is also very busy with other projects, especially with Mats Gustafsson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. How did you then also connect with the other improvisation scenes? I mean, I checked my records that I have you on, and there is like Evan Parker and Barry stuff with Barry Guy and Paul Litton, and then even the Chicago connection with Ken and Fred and those guys. Like, how did you first connect with the British scene with Evan and Barry, who are, I think, slightly older than you?
That's a good thing, because we were playing at the same festival, Evan and I, and he said to me, because at that time I was playing the church organ.
Oh, okay.
And he said, "Are you free these and these days? Can you come over and record it with me?"
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then it started that for a while we have a duo. So we were playing a lot as a duo with church organ and sax, soprano and tenor. So now we had, you know, the pandemia and all that kind of things were a real break for all of us, of course. But I hope that we can do it together again, because we have a very special contact when I play in the church organ together. And that was the thing who Evan really was connected to, he said. So, but now and then I play with, as I mentioned, Paul Litton and Phil Waxman. We have a group called, not a group called, because there's a trumpet player, Emil Strandberg, and Patrick Thorman, a double bass. Then that group have existed for 10 years. And we also invited Philip Waxman to join us. And we also did a record with him, which I'm very pleased with.
Oh, I have to find that one. I didn't have that one.
I will see if I had it. You can get I can get you your address.
Oh, please, I would love to hear. I don't
will
have that
see.
one.
Maybe Emil Strandberg have it on his Bandcamp. I will see.
I'll check.
Emil
Strandberg. Send me a link.
Great trumpet player. But then we also had a connection with our friend who is not anymore with us, the guitar player. Not Jake Bailey, but the other one.
Oh, John Russell.
John Russell.
Yeah,
so exactly. I played with John Russell, and really? He was also together with our trio for a while.
Really?
Sometimes.
Did you guys record something with John as well? Or?
We record some concerts.
Oh shit! You have to release that, man. That would be beautiful.
I hope so. Really,
he was so good.
He was a fantastic player.
Yeah.
So all the connection, and you also mentioned, because for a while Gush were a lot so coming over to the Chicago scene. So
because of
I had a trio with Michael Sarang and Fred Lomberholm.
Yeah, I love that band. Yeah.
So you know, now and then, but now it's more like focus on Gush, focus on the solo works, and the things I'm doing with poems. So
where does this come from? This love for poetry?
Yeah, that was I was working 5 years with a PhD.
Really? In what subject?
Yeah, music inside the language, I call it.
Really? But I made a PhD in translation of poetry, actually. So we're both in poetry a bit.
Oh, I must look at that. The problem, I can. If you go to my website, you can see there I have the PhD, but it's written in Swedish, but you have also an abstract.
Yeah. I'll check it out. Fantastic.
Yeah, you can look at it, and I also want to see what you have done. But that's the main thing for me now. I'm working with poems and poets here in Sweden a lot, especially the Danish poet Inge Christensen. Maybe you can find it in English.
I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, I'll write
and she's very important for me every morning. So I play when I'm rehearsing, and as I said to you, I will rehearse between 9 and 11 every morning. And then I have the text in front of me. And then I talk and play at the same time.
So how do you approach this? I mean,
yeah,
you have a poem, and then you kind of
that's interesting, because I'm not so fond of having traditional scores anymore. So I just have a text, and then I see what's the prosodic things in the text, and then the text leads me into other rhythms and sounds. So I have some examples on my website also, so you can listen.
And then you do that live as well, so that she reads the poetry, and then you kind of build around.
I do it live.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I was in Copenhagen now, not several weeks ago, and I did it in Swedish, very good translation in Swedish for the Danish people, because Inge Christensen, she's the star in in Denmark.
Denmark.
She was a fantastic poet.
Ah, I have to check
But you
her
can
out.
find it in English also.
Yeah, I don't know her. I mean,
yeah, she's great.
don't know so many poets from the Scandinavia. I've studied mostly American poetry and but don't know Scandinavian poetry at all, actually, to be honest. So I have to check it out.
Yeah, because this is a kind of what I call it, the Nordic tradition of doing poetry in motion. So it's a sort of, playing, talking, singing at the same time. That's the thing.
Interesting. I have to check it out. Super.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Ken Vandermark connection also came in Chicago, right? Did you guys do gigs?
Of course.
Also?
He was a great organizer, and he organized lots of things together with us. And there actually is a really good one record, which he
2 days in December. That one, right?
What?
2 days in December. That one I have. I mean,
yes.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one. Yeah.
Oh, I'm really pleased with that. It was a long time ago. It was recorded here in Stockholm, actually.
Really? Oh.
I'm very fond of playing duos again. I really like to see what kind of conversation it will be up to do. So yeah.
Yeah, duo is very intimate. I love that as well. I mean, it's a nice nice way to leave space and everything also. No?
Yeah, it is really. Yeah. So most of the time it's smaller groups, duos, trios.
Yeah.
Not so often larger group because there's a lot of things happening at the same time. So I prefer to do it in that way, really.
Yeah. Where does the love for the electronics come from? When did you start using electronics, actually?
That was actually in the beginning when I was studying contemporary music here in Stockholm. I learned to compose electronic music.
Wow, already.
But then I found a way of doing it very easy with, chaos pads and you take the voice inside and transform it into the electronic things. And I'm more fond of doing it. All the sessions I do on record also is always live sessions.
Sure. Yeah.
I try to do it like that.
Yeah.
So
especially for improvised music and jazz. I mean, that's
and I'm very fond of what can you do actually live without overdubbing and like that.
You started playing like this stuff, already late 70s, and what's your view on you're quite active on Bandcamp. I see a lot of stuff you put on there, but how would you compare like late 70s or early 80s and the state of the music industry now, or what an album represents for you, actually? Because that's a problem. I mean, I have many times, we record something and then I always question it. What does it mean to release that? Like, does it have even a purpose anymore? Or what's your view on that?
That's so important question you actually talking about now, because at that time, especially in the 80s and 90s, for me, it was so important for me to compose a work which you released on a solo record. But the solo record, what is that now? So for me, it's that's a problem because the 70s, in one way, it was more like, in one way for me, it was more open-minded because you have lots of connection. You can have big record companies which were really releasing avant-garde music. If you go to, especially in the States and in England. But for me, it also was really, I said it earlier, when I'm composing a new solo project, it takes around 2 years to do it. And then I release it. It's like releasing a book.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I'm trying to combine, because I'm working with the last 2 releases are the solo or with the book is poems and images.
Yeah.
So half of the time I'm working with images together with the music. Now we can go to my website, and on the image side you can see that. So the records now, it's really hard to see what's kind of function it have now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's a problem in one way. It's
No, it is. It's I'm just
yeah,
I'm puzzled sometimes because you know I look at it like that. You release a record and then of course it's documenting somewhere where you are in your musical life. That's the first
yeah.
thing, right? I mean, that's important.
Mhm.
But then on the other hand, it's like, okay, you release a record, you send it out, you got good reviews, but it's like, then okay, so
Yeah. Earlier I
it's
got, actually I must say, earlier I got quite a lot good reviews, but now it just, oh, never mind.
it just goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, labels don't
Yes.
send out to journalists anymore, and it's
They don't do that.
no, not anymore, yeah, and it's quite.
No.
They just send it like digital, and all these journalists, want physical copies,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's a bizarre time for
Yeah. It is. It is.
for this. But yeah, we keep doing it. So
No.
yeah,
But now and then, and for me now, it's much more interesting to find a way. I'm working a lot with films together with the music now, so it's a sort of intermedia
yeah,
performances more and more.
yeah,
That's I'm very fond of
yeah,
to do my
yeah,
own paintings together with the music.
yeah, yeah. With improvised music, that's so important. I think that we have this option also
Yeah.
to do. That's really cool. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Stan, what is otherwise? You mentioned the Gush tour in the fall in November,
yeah.
and what is still on the schedule for you for the upcoming months? Do you have some new records coming out as well, or
No,
speaking of
in one
records?
way, that's the thing, If you go to my website, you can see that I have lots of new releases, more and more. But there are intermediate works.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just voice and electronics, sometimes it's church organ, and sometimes it's solo piano. So that's the thing now. Well, there's a record which I really hope it will be released from John Corbett's. It was the last concert I did with Paul Lovens in Nickelsdorf.
Really? Oh man.
So I really hope that will be released, but we were so pleased with that. So
A duo only.
a duo, yes.
Oh man, you have to
And
get
he
it out.
don't play anymore now, so
Yeah, I know, yeah. Oh
yeah.
man, you have to get that out, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, and that one with John Russell.
I hope
Come
he
on.
will hear this.
Yeah, the John Russell one as well,
Yeah,
man. You have to
yeah.
somehow digitalize it.
Yes, of course.
These are
But more and more, they're getting closer to performances together with I have a larger work now for 5 voices and film and my music, which will be performed as a performances more, not as a normal concert. So
yeah.
it's about that more and more.
How do you usually compose for such projects when you have 5 voices and a film? Like, what's your process there?
Yeah, that's interesting because I'm more and more into that. They don't have a normal score. They had to have a listening score.
Ah,
So all the signals and all the changing in the sounds they have to listen to and react on some of the sounds. So they don't have any normal score yeah. So they have to listening,
wow,
do it together.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You know
cool.
that, and that's also a problem you talked about. That it's hard to release records now because most of the people are not listening to longer parts of
Exactly.
records.
Exactly.
And my favorite things to listen to is music from the 13th and 14th century, which are I must mention one name, Björn Schmelzer. He had a vocal group, and he called Björn Schmelzer. Wonderful. You should check it out.
Yeah, I will.
It's like modern music, but it's very old.
Wow. Okay.
And their voices are very different to each other. So it's very interesting. That's the most inspiring for me to listen to that kind of music, actually. And one more thing. North India Drupal music. That kind of form where they are singing Drupal.
Mm.
That's the,
Yeah. I'll write this down. This
yeah.
Bjorn Schwartz, yeah.
Mm.
Check it
So
out.
check it out. He had
Yeah.
good and also good performances on YouTube.
Fantastic. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Super. Cool.
Oh.
Stan, I hope to
Yeah.
catch you in the fall with Gush if I have time.
And
I'll
as I said, the 9th of November in Wels.
Yeah.
And it's closer to you to the 7th of November in Villach.
Villach. Yeah, Villach is like 1.5 hours. Yeah. So
yeah, I know that because we went and my wife and I was around Bled for it was 10 years ago, but
it's beautiful.
Wonderful that.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it is.
So I hope she will come with me now. This tour also when we are going to Villach and Wels.
Yeah, it's a nice region. It's a really nice region. Lakes and mountains.
How long? You said it 1.5 hours from your place.
Yeah. If you have time, if you have a free day, drop me a line. We can meet for dinner, for wine, or whatever.
Can you just write down on the email where you're staying?
Yeah, I will.
Good.
And we can meet maybe here.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice.
When you're not doing this kind of interviews, what are you doing then?
Oh, I play concerts and have various bands also with so many guys you play with also. And otherwise I teach, I teach in the afternoons. I have a music school here in Maribor, so and try to play concerts and so it's like this is just a hobby. For creating a scene and an archive for I really love this music, and for me it's like I don't know, just an archive. I would love to hear an interview, let's say with Eric Dolphy or Booker Little from the 60s or someone like that. So and I think it's nice to create an archive of, because there are so many guys like you and myself out there who are making fantastic music, since 50 years, and it's good to archive it, I think. So it's
it's very important because this is sort of we have a dialogue now, and it's so important to find other ways when you don't do concerts, and I really good.
Yeah, it's also good information for me, egoistically, I get information always from people like yourself, finding out about new composers, new names, and you get inspired, you listen. I think it's important.
Of course it is.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully we see each other in somewhere in Austria, maybe.
Yeah,
I hope we should go also to Ljubljana later, but that's not clear anymore.
Yeah, and in Slovenia you have like basically the only option is Ljubljana, Maribor, and Cerkno. I don't know if you played in Cerkno already.
No, but Maribor Raimon and Mats have been there.
Yeah, Mats has been in Maribor like 20 times at least. Yeah. He's like,
mentioned that.
Yeah, he's a homestay. So, but say hi to Mats if you see him also. So.
Yeah, I will see him on Tuesday.
Please say hi.
I will talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
Stay in touch. Okay.
It was a nice talk, and hopefully there will be some more.
Yes, definitely. Okay.
Dr. Jazz.